Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is Elite Cakes back with the weekly video. Before I get into today's video, I obviously want to thank everybody for the continued support. Just for the new members that are part of the channel, the reason that I started this channel was because I was into collecting sneakers. I was into reselling what I had in my collection, but just getting the basic information, how to cop, which stores to check, it became so difficult. There wasn't very much discussion on it on the internet, so I went ahead and just started making this channel explaining how the sneakers app works, just for example. It was also hard to find just general information about not just the sneakers app, but when, for example, Union has their hype drops, how to cop on Union. Nobody was talking about it on Twitter. It would seem to be very guarded on YouTube. So I just put out YouTube videos, but hey, this is exactly what you want to do. And this is actually a great segue into today's video. We're going to take a look back on the year's worth of reselling that I have done and just sort of tips that I've learned in terms of reselling. So this video is actually going to be great for those individuals who are looking to get into buying sneakers, and then those individuals who are looking into getting sneakers and flipping those sneakers, because we're just going to take a look back in this past year. So this video is really broken down into two segments. The first segment is we're just going to talk a little bit about what are the best ways to get a hold of sneakers. And then the second thing we're going to talk about is, okay, you've got the sneaker. Some people want to keep it in their collection. Other people they want to flip it. They want to make the money, or they want to make their particular sneaker that they got free. So the second thing we're going to talk about is selling the sneaker. Things that I've learned over this past year that I feel like that aren't on YouTube, that most people do not talk about. So guys, I'm going to jump into the first tip. The first tip is you got to understand which stores are getting which sneakers. And the reason that's important, just as a very basic example, let's take the Jordan 4 Red Thunder or even the Jordan 4 White Oreos. The Flex stores got them, Finish Line got them, Sneakers obviously got them, Nike stores got them, Tier 0 stores got them, Dick's Sporting Goods even got them as well too. So if you knew which stores you got them, you could have collected a number of pairs. But if you only went for it, and this is actually the interesting part, is a lot of people only go for shoes on sneakers. They don't try for it on Flex. They don't take the time to understand Flex. They don't take the time to understand the Finish Line algorithms. What my first tip is, you got to look at the sneaker and you got to ask yourself, where is this shoe dropping? Is my local boutique store, is my local tier 0 store getting this sneaker? Who is getting this sneaker so I can maximize my chance to getting a pair? Or even if I want to double up, or even if I want to get a number of pairs to make my sneaker free. So guys, that's the first tip, is understanding which stores are getting the sneaker. The second tip, guys, is you gotta understand the algorithm for these various apps. I will say this from the get-go. There is a part of the algorithm that is going to be random. Let's say 50%, 60%, probably less than 50% sometimes is going to be random. There are multiple things you can do to increase your chances to copying. Rather than just putting in for a random size each time, understand how sneakers works. Understand how the Confirmed app works. Understand how getting exclusive access works. There's a lot of people, and I can't tell you about this, there's a lot of people who just randomly go for a random size, not understanding that it's going to actually hurt their chances. Or they don't take the time to understand the algorithms behind copying these sneakers. The individuals that take the time to understand the algorithms are the ones that cop the most pairs. The other individuals that cop the most pairs are also the ones that get a lot of backdoor pairs. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Which is a second thing that we'll talk about later, is that you gotta understand backdooring works. It happens a lot. We'll talk about that in the selling segment, though, guys. The third tip is do not dismiss the smaller stores. This comes in line with the first tip. The Hibbett Sports, for example, if you have Apple Pay and you're not going for Hibbett Sports, I don't know what you're doing. That is a gem, because Hibbett Sports usually gets most of the drops. Obviously not the supreme high like the Jordan 1 85 highs, but they got the zebras, they get the Jordan 4s, they get the Jordan 1s. Understand how to cop on the smaller stores like Hibbett's and DSG, because a lot of people, again, do not go for those stores. The next tip that I have for you guys is that put in for all the raffles, okay? And this is going to sound a little ridiculous, but End Clothing, S&S, Atmos in my area, and then if you're in the New York and Philadelphia area, Alma Manier if you're in the, I believe it's in DC, and I believe it's in Atlanta as well, and I think in Houston as well too. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it's in that area too. Social Status, Exhibition, all these places have raffles. When you put in for multiple raffles on multiple places, the odds of hitting are going to be significantly greater. The next tip, guys, is you have to understand leftover day, and this is so important. Is leftover day is different at each store. My leftover day, I know at my Finish Line, they don't pass out their shoes at 3 p.m. You can't wait, they don't want people waiting in line at 3 p.m. They do it randomly based off of whatever the district manager says. So what I normally do is I go in and I talk to the employees and like, what's going on for leftover day? What are you guys doing this time around? And they seem to switch it up each time. So understand leftover day. Another easy way to get pairs. The next tip, guys, is going to be understand when your store not only gets restocks, but understand when they put out pairs. A lot of stores, what they used to do is they would get restocks, for example, on Tuesday and Friday, and the shoes would go out that day. Nowadays, what we're actually seeing is, for example, the Nike store, they got the vintage green Dunks, okay? No one knew about it. They put them out randomly on a Saturday morning. Whoever was there on Saturday got a chance to cop. Also, I ran into a Panda restock at the Nike store. I randomly went in on a Tuesday, which is not a normal day that they get their restocks, but the Pandas were just sitting there. They had the Dunk High Pandas as well too. But understand that. And you guys are probably wondering, well, how do I understand when they're getting restocks? Guys, this leads into the next, the seventh tip is talking to employees. Don't treat it just like a transaction, like, hey, give me this information. A lot of people, I've actually seen this happen when I've been behind of somebody in line. They'll just go in and they'll just be like, hey, when are you getting this? Are you getting this? Are you getting that? They're not machines. Like, they're people. Talk to them, guys. Don't treat them like, hey, I just need this information and I'm out. Talk to them like normal humans. Have a conversation with them. You don't necessarily just need to talk to them about sneakers. When I went in there and I copped the Pandas, I was just talking to the employee how excited I was. He was telling me this, like, yeah, we've had this sneaker for a while, but we deliberately released it today because we figured whoever wants to come in on Tuesday can get a Panda. So guys, the next tip, and this is the final tip, the eighth tip that I have to understanding how to buy sneakers is you got to have multiple accounts. And I hate saying this and repeating this multiple times, but no pun intended. But on sneakers, if you're operating one account, I'm sorry, your odds of hitting are so small. When I first started getting into sneakers and I was only using one account, it was just, now looking back on it, it's like that was just not a smart idea. And now obviously the Confirmed app is a little different, and there will be a video coming out about that in the coming weeks about how to hit on the Confirmed app. But for example, sneakers, Finish Line, JD Sports, you can have multiple accounts. The Flex app, there's ways to set up multiple accounts on each of those platforms. You want to have multiple accounts. Again, the key thing to multiple accounts is, but change the shipping address, add a room 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure you have a different payment method. Otherwise, your multiple account is going to get flagged, and that's a whole another issue that you do not want to go through. Guys, that is the buying portion of this sort of recap of 1 year's worth of diving into sneakers, understanding how everything works. I want to jump to selling. Selling is also very important as well, because a lot of people buy the sneaker and they keep it, but there's also a good majority of people who buy the sneaker, want to sell it to pay for their pair, or want to sell it just to make some profit. So the first thing I want to talk about is backdooring, okay? And, you know, at first when I heard about this concept, I just didn't believe it, but it happens. And a lot of the stores that get the hype shoes, and this is like the boutique stores sometimes, is they will backdoor their pairs. That's just a fact. I'm not going to name names here. I've seen it happen. But it's just something that we have to deal with. We, as normal sneakerheads, just have to deal with it. That's just a way of life now, and there's nothing we can do about it. First real tip I want to talk about in selling sneakers is you got to understand the market, okay? You got to do research. You have to be confident, okay? And it's okay to look at what other people think about, hey, should I hold or should I sell it? But at the end of the day, and this is very important, it's your money, okay? You're the one who spent $200, $300 in this particular sneaker, okay? You have to make the decision. One of the first shoes that when I first started getting into sort of holding and selling was the Jordan 1 neutral gray highs, the 85 highs, okay? And I didn't understand much about 85 highs at the time. And I remember watching someone's video, and I'm not here to name names or anything like that. And the individual was saying that this is a sneaker you want to hold, it will increase over time. So, I just posted it on eBay just to see what kind of offers I would get. And I was getting offers like $600, $700, right? And I was like, nope, this is $1,000 shoe. Looking back on it now, it's like that was not a smart decision because all I needed to do at that time was look at how the previous year's 85 high went. And that would have helped me determine, hey, this is a shoe I probably need to sell in the next month or two rather than holding it. So the first tip is really this, guys. Do your research. It's okay to look at other people's videos. And even when I do a hold or sell video, I'm providing you guys an analysis. You guys should ultimately look at that analysis. Say, I'm going to also do my own analysis because the purpose of this channel is to really give you guys the tools to be independent, to be able to go out, cop as many pairs as you want. The second and final tip, guys, is this. You have to understand market trends. What does that mean? That means a couple of things. Understand that during tax season, you get a little bit more money because people have extra money in their pocket. During holiday season, you get more money because people have extra money. Not necessarily they have extra money in their pocket. Sometimes they get holiday bonuses and everything like that. But they will be willing to spend more money. So if you can hold a shoe for a certain period of time, you have to understand you're going to most likely get more money down that line. The last thing you want to do is, for example, sell a shoe in September for $200. And if you had just held it for 2 months, 3 months, you would have made maybe an extra $100, $150. And that's definitely worth the return of investment that you put into that particular shoe. So I've been talking for a long period of time. I was going to talk a little bit about, GOAT, StockX, local sales, eBay, but I'll leave that for another period in time. I am really excited about next week's video. One of my favorite new segments, Talks with the Average Sneakerhead. I've picked somebody randomly on Instagram. This is the first person that I'm going to be talking to. We're just going to be talking a little bit about his sneaker journey, what he's into, any tips he has. Just to preview it for you guys, his Instagram handle is _sneakerdoctor_. He's got about 3,500 followers. I've chatted with him quite a bit. Very excited to talk about him. What I'm probably going to do moving forward is when this segment is time to come up, I may just put out something on Instagram saying, hey, if you're interested in being featured on this video, shoot me a DM and I'll pick somebody at random. Guys, that is the video for today. This is Elite Kicks signing off. Take care, everybody.